Runway is clear. You are cleared for takeoff.
Maya,
Yes, Captain?
have you ever noticed something interesting?
Probably several things.
Fair point. Here's one. When most people hear the word subcontractor, they immediately think extra labor.
That's a very common assumption.
And I think it's wrong.
I agree. In fact, I'd argue that labor is often one of the least interesting reasons a prime contractor hires a subcontractor.
Now that's how you start episode 2. Welcome back to the flight deck. I'm John Cornish, founder and CEO of Marshall Davis Medical Logistics, creator of Atlas One, and your captain for today's mission.
And I'm Maya Chen, Executive Intelligence Officer, Atlas One AI Voice of Reason, helping transform executive intelligence into practical decisions.
Last episode, we challenged one of the biggest myths in government contracting.
That small businesses don't belong in the federal marketplace.
Today, we're going even deeper. Why do prime contractors actually hire subcontractors?
And the answer might surprise you.
Because it's not what most people think.
John, let's imagine something. You're the CEO of a company that just won a $180 million federal contract. Congratulations.
I'll take it.
Now you have one enormous responsibility. Deliver the mission. What's the first thing keeping you awake at night?
Failure, not profit, failure. Missing deadlines, quality issues, compliance problems, damaging the customer relationship. Those are the things executives worry about.
Exactly, which leads to an important realization. Prime contractors don't hire subcontractors because they have work. They hire subcontractors because they have risk.
That's probably the biggest takeaway of today's episode. Say that again.
Prime contractors hire subcontractors to reduce risk. The work is the vehicle, but risk management is the reason.
And if you're a small business trying to break into government contracting, understanding that distinction changes everything about how you position yourself.
It changes your proposal strategy. It changes your capability statements. It changes how you walk into a room with a prime contractor.
Because you're not selling labor anymore, you're selling confidence.
Welcome aboard. This is the Federal Subcontractor Blueprint.
Let's take off. All right, Maya, let's break this down. Let's go back to that hospital analogy. You're building a hospital. Would you hire one company that tries to do absolutely everything?
Probably not. You'd hire specialists. Electrical, structural steel, medical gas, elevators, HVAC. Not because the general contractor can't understand those disciplines, but because specialists reduce execution risk.
Government contracting works exactly the same way. Prime contractors assemble teams. They don't build empires.
Can I add another layer?
Please.
When I analyze successful federal programs, I repeatedly see 7 reasons prime contractors select subcontractors, and the order matters.
Let's hear them.
Number 1, specialized expertise. This is the most obvious one, but it goes deeper than people think. A prime contractor might understand cybersecurity at a high level, but when the contract requires a team that holds specific security clearances, has hands-on experience with a particular classified system, and can pass a government facility audit in 30 days, that's not general knowledge. That's specialized capability. And it's the kind of capability that takes years to develop.
And here's what most small businesses miss. The expertise doesn't have to be exotic. It has to be specific. I've seen companies win subcontract awards because they were the only team that had certified technicians for a particular piece of medical equipment. Not because they were the biggest, because they were the only ones who could do that one thing at the level the mission required.
Number 2, geographic presence. This one gets overlooked constantly. Federal programs often require on-site support in locations that aren't major metropolitan areas. Think military installations in rural areas. Think field offices in specific regions. Think disaster response zones.
I've personally seen contracts where the geographic requirement was the deciding factor. The prime needed someone who could have boots on the ground within 48 hours in a specific state. The winning subcontractor wasn't the most experienced company. They were the closest qualified company.
And that's a genuine competitive advantage that small businesses can build. If you're located near a military base, a federal courthouse, a VA hospital, or a FEMA logistics center, that proximity has real value.
Number 3, surge capacity. Large contracts often have unpredictable demand cycles. The prime might need 30 people for 6 months, then 10 people for a year, then 50 people for a 3-month surge. Maintaining that workforce full-time is expensive and inefficient.
So, prime contractors look for subcontractors who can scale up and scale down without compromising quality. This is actually an area where small businesses have a structural advantage. You're more agile. You can mobilize faster. You don't have the bureaucratic overhead that slows down large organizations.
I love this one because it flips the script. Most small businesses think their size is a weakness. In surge situations, your size is your superpower.
Very well said, Captain.
Number 4, regulatory compliance. Government contracts come with enormous compliance requirements, security clearances, cybersecurity standards, quality management certifications, environmental regulations, labor laws that apply specifically to federal work.
And here's the thing, compliance isn't optional. If a subcontractor can't meet the regulatory requirements, they can't do the work, period. No amount of capability or low pricing changes that.
I tell people all the time, invest in your certifications before you invest in your proposals. Get your CMMC, get your ISO certifications, get your security clearances. Because when a prime contractor is assembling their team, the first question isn't who's the cheapest, it's who's already qualified.
Number 5, past performance. In government contracting, your track record isn't just a marketing asset, it's a risk indicator. Prime contractors want to see that you've successfully delivered similar work before, not similar in general, similar in scope, complexity, and environment.
And this creates what I call the experience paradox. You can't get past performance without a contract, and you can't get a contract without past performance. So how do you break in?
Start smaller. Pursue subcontracting opportunities first. Build a record. Document everything. Create case studies. Collect performance evaluations. That track record becomes your currency for larger opportunities.
Number 6, customer confidence. This is the one nobody talks about. When a prime contractor presents their team to the government customer, the customer is evaluating not just the prime, but every member of that team.
If the government contracting officer looks at your company and says, "I've heard good things about them," or "They supported Program X and did excellent work," that's worth more than any capability statement.
Customer confidence is earned over time through consistent performance. And once you have it, prime contractors will actively seek you out because you make their proposal stronger.
And number 7, risk reduction. This is the umbrella that covers everything else.
And this is the one I want to spend the most time on. Maya, let's talk about risk the way a CEO actually thinks about it.
Meaning?
When a prime contractor wins a $180 million contract, that contract comes with performance obligations, milestones, deliverables, penalties for non-compliance, and in some cases, liquidated damages if they miss deadlines.
So every person on that team is either reducing risk or increasing it. There's no neutral.
Exactly. And that's why trust matters so much. A prime contractor isn't just hiring capability. They're trusting you with their reputation, their contract performance, their future ability to win more work.
Let me share something I found in my analysis. When I looked at the top reasons prime contractors gave for selecting subcontractors across hundreds of contract documents, risk reduction appeared in the top 3 reasons in 87% of cases.
87%.
And yet, when I look at how most small businesses market themselves to primes, they lead with capability. We can do this. We have these certifications. We have these people.
Which isn't wrong, but it's incomplete.
Because the prime contractor is already thinking, great, you can do the work, but can you do it without creating problems for me?
That's the question. And if your proposal, your capability statement, and your pitch don't answer that question, you're leaving money on the table.
So how does a small business answer that question? How do you demonstrate that you reduce risk rather than add to it?
3 things. First, show your systems. Don't just say you have quality management. Show your processes. Show your tracking tools. Show how you handle problems when they arise. Primes want to see that you have a system, not just good intentions.
Second, show your history of reliability. Even if your past performance is limited, show that you delivered on time, on budget, and without surprises. Consistency matters more than scale.
Third, show your communication. One of the biggest risks primes face is the subcontractor who goes silent, who doesn't flag problems early, who doesn't ask questions when something is unclear.
If you can demonstrate that you communicate proactively, escalate issues early, and provide honest status updates, you've just differentiated yourself from the majority of subcontractors in the market.
Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most subcontractors don't fail because they lack technical skill. They fail because they created unexpected problems, cost overruns, schedule delays, compliance issues, communication breakdowns.
And the prime contractor is the one who has to explain those failures to the government customer.
So when a prime looks at your company, they're not just asking, can these people do the work? They're asking, will these people make my life easier or harder?
If the answer is easier, you'll get the call.
If the answer is harder or even uncertain, you won't.
This brings us to something really important. How do you actually position yourself to answer that question before it's asked?
Great transition. Let's talk about it. Now let's talk about what I call the wrong door problem.
I like this already.
This is something I see constantly. A small business decides they want to do government work. So they go straight to sam.gov and start searching for open solicitations.
Which sounds logical.
It does. But here's the problem. They're searching for RFPs, requests for proposals, that are already published. That means the competition is already there. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of companies are bidding on the same opportunity.
And the odds of winning are low.
Very low, especially for a newcomer with no past performance in federal work. It's like showing up to a job interview with no resume and no references, competing against people who've been doing the work for 10 years.
So what should they do instead?
This is where it gets interesting. The companies that consistently win federal work, they don't start with the RFP, they start with the relationship.
Can you explain that?
6 months, sometimes a year before an RFP ever hits the street, the smart companies are already building relationships with the prime contractors who are likely to bid. They're attending industry days. They're going to conferences. They're having coffee with program managers. They're showing up in rooms where decisions are being shaped.
And by the time the RFP drops, they're already known.
Exactly. They're not a name on a cover sheet. They're a trusted partner the prime already wants on their team. That's the difference between chasing work and being chosen for work.
When I analyze contract award data, I see a pattern. In competitive source selections, the winning team almost always has subcontractors who were involved before the RFP was released. Their names appear in the technical approach. Their past performance is cited. Those relationships were built in advance.
And the losing teams?
Often, they assembled their teams after the RFP came out. They scrambled to find subcontractors who could fill gaps, and evaluators can see that. The proposal feels stitched together rather than cohesive.
That's a powerful insight. If you're waiting for an RFP to start building your team, you're probably already too late.
The door you're looking for isn't sam.gov, it's the relationship door, and it opens long before the solicitation does.
So let's talk about what that actually looks like in practice. Maya, what does a small business do on Monday morning if they want to start walking through the right door?
First, identify 3 to 5 prime contractors in your area or your industry who regularly win federal contracts. Don't target the biggest ones in the country. Start with mid-tier primes who win contracts in the $50 to $500 million range. Those companies are large enough to need subcontractors, but small enough that you can actually get a meeting.
Good advice, because trying to get a meeting with a Fortune 500 prime as a brand new small business, that's extremely difficult. But a mid-tier regional prime? They're often actively looking for reliable partners.
Second, attend industry events. The government hosts industry days for major acquisitions. Professional associations like NDIA, AFCEA, and the Small Business Administration host events specifically designed to connect primes and subs. Show up. Introduce yourself. Follow up within 48 hours.
And third, and this is the one most people skip, prepare a one-page capability statement, not a brochure, not a website, a single page that clearly says who you are, what you do, what certifications you hold, and what past performance you can point to.
John, this is exactly where episode 3 is going to pick up, isn't it?
It is. We're going to break down the capability statement line by line. But I wanted to plant that seed today because it connects directly to why primes hire subs. They're not looking for labor. They're looking for partners who can reduce their risk from day one.
Let me add a radar sweep item. I recently analyzed a Department of Veterans Affairs IT services contract, approximately $92 million over 5 years. The winning team included 3 subcontractors. 2 were small businesses with fewer than 50 employees. 1 handled cybersecurity compliance. The second provided specialized healthcare IT integration with VA systems. The small businesses weren't chosen because they were cheap labor. They were chosen because they brought capabilities and credibility the prime couldn't build alone.
And that right there is today's entire episode in one example. The prime didn't need extra hands. They needed specialized capability and trust.
Exactly. The small businesses that understand this distinction are the ones winning work year after year.
One more thing. I hear from small business owners all the time. John, how do I actually get a prime contractor to take my call?
That's the real question.
Here's my honest answer. You earn it. You don't cold call a prime and say, "Give me work." What works is showing up with value. Offer a capability briefing. Share a white paper. Invite them to see your facility. Make it easy for them to say, "This person is serious."
And from the data side, prime contractors are evaluated on their team composition. When they write a proposal, the government is looking at who they've chosen as subcontractors. So a prime who finds a strong small business partner isn't just being nice, they're strengthening their own proposal. You're helping them win.
That reframe changes everything. You're not begging for scraps. You're offering the prime a competitive advantage.
And once you understand that dynamic, the entire relationship changes. You walk into meetings with confidence instead of desperation, and confidence is something prime contractors notice immediately.
All right, Maya. Before we close out today's flight, I want to do something we'll do every episode. I'm calling it the executive takeaway.
I like it. What's the format?
Simple. 3 things every listener should take away from today's mission. Ready?
Ready.
Number 1, prime contractors don't hire subcontractors for labor. They hire them to reduce risk. If you can clearly articulate how you reduce a prime's risk, you become valuable immediately.
That's the foundation.
Number 2, 7 factors drive subcontractor selection. Specialized expertise, geographic presence, surge capacity, regulatory compliance, past performance, customer confidence, and risk reduction. You don't need all 7, but you need to be strong in at least 2 or 3.
And you need to know which ones you're strong in so you can communicate them clearly.
Number 3, the right door isn't sam.gov. It's the relationship door. Build relationships with prime contractors long before RFPs are released. Attend industry events. Prepare your capability statement. Show up with value, not with need.
3 clear, actionable takeaways. I'd add one more if I may.
Please.
Start thinking of yourself as a strategic partner, not a subcontractor. The word sub implies something lesser, but in reality, the subcontractors on a winning team are mission critical. Without them, the prime doesn't win. Shift your mindset and everything else follows.
Well said. All right, let's do the mission brief.
Today's mission brief. Number 1. Identify 3 to 5 mid-tier prime contractors in your industry who regularly win federal contracts. Research their recent awards. Understand what they do and where they might need support.
Number 2, create or update your one-page capability statement. Be clear about what you do, what certifications you hold, and what past performance you can reference.
Number 3. Find one upcoming industry event, conference, or networking opportunity in the next 30 days. Register for it. Show up. Start building relationships.
And number 4, shift your internal language. Every time you think or say subcontractor, replace it with strategic partner. See how that changes your confidence level.
Small shift, big impact.
All right, Maya, any closing thoughts before we park this aircraft?
Just this. Today, we talked about why prime contractors hire subcontractors, and the answer was not what most people expect. It's not about extra hands. It's about trust, capability, and mission success. If you internalize that one idea, you're already ahead of 90% of the businesses trying to break into this market.
Beautifully said. And I want to add my own thought. If you're listening to this and you've been on the fence about government contracting, maybe you think your company is too small. Maybe you think the market is too complicated. Maybe you think you don't have the right connections. I want you to hear this clearly. You belong in this market. The federal government needs small businesses. It needs your innovation, your agility, your expertise, and your commitment. The question isn't whether you belong. The question is whether you're willing to prepare, learn, and show up.
And that's exactly what this podcast is here to help you do.
Thank you for flying with us today. This has been episode 2 of the Federal Subcontractor Blueprint. I'm John Cornish, your captain.
And I'm Maya Chen, your Executive Intelligence Officer. We'll see you on the next flight.
Until then, fly smart, fly prepared, and always know your next waypoint.
Good night, flight deck.
Good night, Maya. Post-credits scene. Maya,
Yes, Captain?
what's next week's mission?
Episode 3, your one-page capability statement, the document that opens doors you didn't know existed.
I love that episode.
I know you do.
See you next week, everybody.
Cleared to land. Welcome home.
Atlas 1 Flight 102, mission complete. Excellent execution today. Your next waypoint will be filed shortly. Until then, maintain your heading. This is your controller, signing off. See you on the next flight.